Alsy, dit is 'n lekker, fris, vrolike oggend as ons dit kan sê. Ons het in die vorige episode het ons lekker oeverhengel gedoen. En vandag is ons weer hier by die Nile Biodiversity projek dam, wat ook ons sal dit in Afrikaans noem. Dien, baie dankie dat julle hier met ons opstel en dankie dat julle vir ons so 'n pragtige groen tapuit uitgegooi het.
Plesier Werner, absolute plesier. Altyd lekker om jou hier te hê.
Nou ja, vandag doen ons bietjie iets anders. Riaan is saam met my in die span, so ons is die Riaan Alleman oeverhengelaar span. En ons het lekker interessante reëls vandag. Dien en Christopher het lekker deur die nag geoefen om seker te maak hulle het 'n ton se voer in die water onder die camouflage van nagartikel. So hulle begin met so 'n halwe voorsprong of 3 en hulle hengel met 2 spesiestokke, ons hengel saam op een stand met 2 oeverhengelstokke. En ons het so 3 kompetisies in een. Ons gaan geen visse in die net hou nie. Al die vis wat gevang word geweeg, neergeskryf en hulle gaan terug. Maar daar's 3 kompetisies in een. Ons gaan kyk wie gaan die meeste vis vang.
Okay.
Dan gaan ons kyk wie gaan die swaarste sak vang. En dan gaan ons kyk wie gaan die meeste punte hê op die oeverhengel puntestelsel en karphengel puntestelsel gekombineer. Met ander woorde, en hier kom die lekker ene, 10 punte per kilogram, 5 punte per vis. En op die oeverhengel kan telbabers en op die karp kan telbabers nie, want is deel van die reëls. So, dis hoe ons dit gaan doen. Daar's julle surprise vir die dag. Hoe sien julle die dag? Ons het 5 ure se hengel, met ander woorde van nou af 5 ure, and that's what we're gonna do. Gister het ons 'n lekker klompie vis gevang. Wat gaan ons vandag vang?
Okay, so Werner, thanks again. But I think, putting the 2 facets against each other is going to be interesting today. What we do know as boilie fishermen or specimen fishermen, herring fishermen, is it's not a tempo game. Okay, so what you guys are going to do, I think you're going to be onto the fish quicker, and as we saw at your previous shoot, you can get some nice big ones. What we're going to do is we're going to try and have a heavier average.
Yeah.
So probably catch less fish than you. Unfortunately, your cats are going to count, so that's going to hurt us badly. But we're going to try catch a couple of fish, hopefully get the average up. And you should have made the average weight maybe one of the examples.
Well,
that's fine. But
let's throw it in. But that's gonna come in. Daar's nog een. Ons gaan kyk wat is die grootste gemiddelde gewig per vis.
Yeah, and in principle, I think 5 hours is very short relative to a 72-hour session for this type of facet, because you actually got to establish the feed, get the fish in, feed in, and get them used to taking a boilie, not a little floaty dough or something nice and fine, which is easy for a fish to accept. We're going to be giving them nice big chokers and hopefully get them to take that and pick up some average fish. We are going to probably pick up some barbel. So for us, that's going to hurt us. For you guys, that's a huge advantage. You will see during the course of the day when we're filming, we've got 4 rods on the pod. So that's fine. Normally we fish with 4. You've told us we can only fish with 2. So what we'll do is we'll have 2 ready to go at all times. And then we'll remain inside the FIPSED rules, which says that once the fish is landed, meaning under your control in the net, you can cast, which is different to your rules.
Yes, we need to have the fish.
You've got to be finished. If you're going to weigh each fish, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you cannot throw the rod back in the water until that fish is according to your rules.
Yeah.
According to our rules, we can throw.
Good.
So, game on.
Game on. Let's fish. Kom, geniet dit saam met ons. Ons het op die swem ook een van die ander redes hoekom hulle net 2 stokke het, is dat by die venue word dan net 4 stokke per swem toegelaat. So ons het dit ook gerespekteer en dit ingewerk in ons game in vir die dag. So, dis ek weet nie wat noem julle nie, is julle team SA, is julle
Team True Feed.
Team True Feed en Team Bank Angler. Kom ons kyk wat gebeur. Geniet dit saam met ons. Julle gaan binne in ons kaste en binne in ons swem wees die hele tyd terwyl ons vis. In die vorige episode, of gister in ons wêreld hier, het ek nou 'n lekker pak slaag gekry by Dean en Christopher. In die middag het ek so 'n bietjie van hulle voer gekry om saam met myne in te sit. So hy was bietjie diluted. So dit was my uitdaging om te oorkom. Gelukkig hier by die Nyl het Kaal 'n lekker kiosk en ek het gery en van hierdie voer gaan kry. Dit is die True Feed. Hierdie is 'n enhancer. Hy's lekker sag, is 'n poeierformaat. So een pakkie kan jy by so 2 kg se voer sit. Ek gaan dit nou aanmaak, maar wat ek ook vandag gaan doen, ek gaan so weer 'n hele blikkie mieliepitte bysit. My voer is 'n gewone boulyn wat ek 'n bietjie meer wit mielierys by het, net om iets op die grond te hê. En ek gaan so 'n paar hande vol van hierdie inwerk in die voer. Dit is die pellets. Nadat die voer word so lekker bruin met hierdie. En dan gaan ek so 'n paar hande van die pellets net so inwerk. Maar die vis hierso is baie groot. En omdat ons nou 'n lekker interessante kompetisie het, ek en Riaan gaan op oeverhengelmetode teen hulle hengel op hulle spesie metode. En ons het 'n paar lekker kompetisies soos julle gehoor het. Nou ja, dis dit. Dis wat ek gaan doen. Gelukkig het ek dit gekry by die kiosk en nou gaan ek dit aanmaak en ek wys vir julle hoe lyk die voer as hy in die finale produk is. Hy is so lekker bruin voer. Ek sit die enhancer eers in die emmer en gooi ek kookwater by. Dit release die olies en dan laat ek hom net so miskien 'n minuut of wat staan dat hy die olies net lekker uittrek en dan sit ek my voer by. Ek sit eers bietjie koue water verder by en dan die voer by dat jy hom lekker met jou hand deurmeng soos normaal. Hulle was so 'n bietjie op die agtervoet nou. Hulle het weggespring daar met 'n verskriklike spoed. Ek dink hulle het 3 visse. Riaan het 'n baie mooi vis verloor nou. En ek dink op hierdie stadium is die visse wat ons bietjie af van die kol af kry. Want hulle het onthou, hulle het nou daar waar hulle hengel het hulle gisterand lekker gevoer en alles, so daar's 'n redelike klompie vis daar. So ons is heeltemal ver daarvan af. So ons hoop dat ons bietjie groter vis kan kry vir die begin. Hulle vang jong vis. Al is dit op spesie metode op die oomblik. So, maar hulle vang baie meer. Hulle het nou al 3 visse en ons is nou eers op die tweede run. Ons hy amper 10 kg. So met hierdie een vis spring ons sommer so eentjie nader aan hulle.
So this was the first attempt we've just had now with the zig rig. We saw a lot of fish up on the surface and it lay a couple of minutes, it went, but unfortunately we didn't get a good hook set, which is quite disappointing. So we'll just try again. Okay, so this is a zig that we're going to try now. And the hook link is about 1.5 meters long. If you have a look at that. So that's what we're going to try.
Wel, ek moet nou hierdie hoek vir hom vashou, so ons kry 10 punte ekstra. En dit kanselleer daai 10 punte uit wat hulle ekstra gekry het omdat hulle vir ons sinna 1 gegee het.
Mooi pak, don't walk backwards, Werner.
Ja.
Don't walk backwards, you're going to tighten up the line. Tell me if you're ready.
I am ready.
Yeah, so I understand we just passed the halfway. For whatever reason, I'm not quite sure, Christopher and I are catching a lot of young fish under, now remember in our terms, the fish has got to be over 1.5 kilos to weigh. So we've probably returned about 6 or 7 fish already that are 1.4, 1.45, which is not good, but in us, in the carp facet, it's not allowed. Van and them are catching some really nice fish this morning. I see they took what we taught them on the previous trip and they've applied it. And they're using that True Feed feed enhance in the ball. They're fishing the center one all over the ball and they're catching some really nice big fish. I think they're on about 40 kilos for halfway and we're only on 15 kilos for halfway, so we're getting a good thump at the moment, but we'll still see. There's still 2.5 hours to go. We'll see what's going to happen.
Wel, dis nou nog vir my 'n surprise. Ek het gedink hulle het meer, maar hulle het nou 'n klomp jong vis wat hulle moes terugsit. Ons het bitter min vis gevang van onder 1,5 kg in elk geval. En ons is nou so 40, 15 voor en nou nog net na dit het ons nog 2 visse van 4 en 5 kg gevang en hulle van 3. En daar was nog een uit van so 1,5. So ons is redelik in 'n redelike posisie nou. Ek weet nie regtig wat is anders nie. Ek dink die feit dat hulle so baie voer, gaan hulle voer. Ek dink die laaste 2 ure as daai groot vis inkom, gaan hulle ons gou vat. So ons moet so ver as moontlik voorkom nou. Dit is baie belangrik dat ons vroeg in die sessie voorkom. Nou dis een van die dinge as jy hierso kan kyk. Ons is redelik heavy op maggots. Ek het omtrent 'n halwe liter maggots wat ek inwerk in die voer die hele tyd. So ons het baie maggots in die voer. En ons byttempo is nie sleg nie. Ons hengel, alhoewel ons het 'n paar mooi groot vis nodig. Nog wat ek dink hulle gaan later iets doen. So ons het ook 'n bietjie verander hier. Met betrekking tot groter vloutjies in plaas van die klein vloutjies. En het 'n ander deegie. So 'n deegie wat gemaak is met die daai enhancer wat in die voer ingebrei is. So hy maak hom so lekker bruin, het geen kleur nie, het net daai enhancer in die deegie. Ek sit hom so groot op agteraan. Dit is asof hy die groter vis vang. Saam met 'n gewone groot wit garlic float. Al iets baie interessants het nou gebeur. Ek kry nie 'n byt daar binne nie en ek trek my uit en ek trek hom uit, heel rustig trek uit. Volgende oomblik hier 30 meter voor die kant. Wop! Slaat die ding nie. Dag, wat het ek nou vasgehaal? Volgende oomblik vlieg hy weg en hy hardloop 50, 60 meter. En so, is 'n barber. So het my geslaan. Ek het hom net gevel, maar hy's lyk as hy in sy mond is. So hy het letterlik my springkie wat so gedraai het terwyl ek teruggekom het hy gejaag en gevat. Soos wat hy met kunshaas doen. So ek het nou 'n barber hier so wat ek op 'n trolling metode gevang het wat ek nie beplan het nie.
Do it again.
Trolling metode.
Oh, in die mond. Solid in die mond gevat. So hy het hom gevat. Hy gaan 'n paar punte gee. Kyk hoe het hy hom gevat. So dit was nie 'n kwessie van dat hy hom iewers nie lyf gehak het nie. Hy het hierdie nuwe gevorderde lure, 'n spiral wound lead infused barbel lure wat teen 'n konstante spoed ingekatrol is. Het hy geslaan. Kyk daar.
Sorry.
Awesome, things are getting pretty wild here. As you can see, we quadruple up. Everybody on the swim is tight. Another day of madness at the Nile. Alright guys, so this fish just ran my clip out. I've now been fighting it for a bit and I saw that my mark was back on the reel. I've got a blue mark there, I don't know if you can see it. So I'm just quickly going to clip it back in so that I can save some time for when I want to recast this rod after landing this fish.
Wel, ek weet nie wat dit dien hulle nou anders gedoen nie, maar hulle is nou ewe skielik in die vis in die groter vis in. Ons vang ook groter vis, maar of redelike vis, maar ewe skielik het hulle iets verander. En nou het hulle so baie voer daar. Hulle nou daai groot visse op daai kollet. En hulle kry hulle gevang. Gaan ons moet hard veg om voor te bly. Ons is redelik voor. Maar Ek is baie benoud as hulle daai dik is, as hulle daai 7-8 begin vang. Dan gaan hulle baie vinnig nader kom. So, ons moet ons agterkante net roer.
Okay, hi guys, I just checked the hook point on one of our rigs was a bit blunt now. The point actually bent a little bit out away from the bend in the hook. So now I'm just giving it a quick sharpen. Always pull down that you're going with the direction of the hook point. And if you check that out now, that's pretty sharp. Right, so here's one of the changes we've made. We've gone across to a little punch tiger nut, Cine 1, with the little black foam, and it seems to be doing the trick. Normally we catch a smaller fish like this and the big fish on the boilies, but it doesn't seem to be the case today. So let's see if this momentum keeps up.
Klop vir 'n barber.
Ronus is dit 'n roepstok.
Ja, klop vir 'n barber. Ek wil sien of ek 'n karp en 'n barber op hierdie ene kan vang. Jy weet, as Werner dit op 'n infused lead spiral kan doen. Miskien kan ek die barber op die viskop vang. Dan weeg ek die karp en die barber.
Dat wil ek maar help.
Op die buitekant die verder lyn is dit 'n kry snaakse buite daar en hulle is nie so vinnig nie. Riaan se kol kom lekker aan die gang, so ek kom nou terug. En net so 5 meter aan die kant sy kont. Nader aan dit is, daar kan ons die tempo optel, want hulle is besig om ons bakslaer te gee op dit. Dat vang meer vis as ons. Wel, onmiddellik met my eerste gooi wat korter was. Ek het hom nou so, Riaan hengel op 62 meter, ek het hom nou so 68 meter gedoen. En onmiddellik, hy het nie 2 minute gelê nie. Dadelik vis aan. So sal ons tempo weer opgaan.
Oupa eintlik praat so, hy vat baie goed.
Here we go, we've got a nice fish on here now. There goes my blue marked line out my tip, so he's taken me past my line clip now. Let's see if it's one of those decent carp. With a match like this in 5 hours, every minute counts.
Wat 'n interessante dag.
Indeed it was.
Dit was nou, ek dink anderster as wat ons verwag het.
Totaal.
Maar ons hou daarvan.
Ek verstaan dit.
Ja, want ek het die span gedra.
Ja, yes. As dit nou nie vir jou was. So, dit was 'n lekker dag. Ons het hard gewerk. Die resultate is as volg. In ons span wat die bankangler span was wat 'n verraaier ingehad het en toe eventually stywe geword het. Het net so oor die 100 kg se vis gevang. Ons het 28 vis gehad. 28 vis met 'n gemiddelde massa van so 3.6. En Dean en Christopher het net oor die 77 kg se vis gehad. Een vis minder as ons, net een vis minder. In die tweede helfte het hulle kwai opgetel. Maar die groot verskil is die average size van die vis. Waar julle nie by 3 kg kon uitkom met betrekking tot dit nie. Plus as gevolg van julle reëls het julle so seker bykans 10 vis wat nie 1,5 kg geweg het nie teruggegooi wat nou nogal seer gemaak het.
Plus die barber.
En julle het nog 'n
About a 10 or so kilo barber that we put back as well.
Okay, so daar's ons 20 kg se vis. Wat julle dan so by 90 kg sou gebring het in totale massa. Maar Dien, as jy kyk na kaapangling en julle het baie gevoer en almal weet vir daardie tipe hengel moet jou water settle. Die vis moet inkom, is 'n ander tipe meganika, dis 'n ander tipe manier. Maar nog steeds om vir die eerste 5 ure van jou match 77 kg te weeg is significant. Is julle tevrede daarmee? Ten spyte van die feit dat julle wedstryd verloor het. Maar is jy tevrede met dit in isolasie?
Ja, ek gaan jou net herinner, Werner, ons het niks verloor, die hengel het gewen.
Is heeltemal waar.
Ek gaan jou nie 'n wimpie koop.
Nee, wimpie is go
Yeah.
to cattleman or something like
Yeah.
that.
So, look, I mean, first and foremost, let's just recap a couple of things.
Yeah.
I think both Christopher and I were very surprised on the size of the fish that we were catching on boilies. Normally this venue, you put boilies on and it's big fish all the way. But we were caught in a bit of a dilemma today in the sense that it was a 5-hour match, and so how were we going to get fish into the swim quickly? And I think maybe by what we did to get fish into the swim quickly might have brought the smaller fish quickly. Now, if we were fishing a nationals at Bloemhof or anywhere like that, we would only have been too grateful to have got 77 kilos of weighable fish in 5 hours.
In the
I mean,
first 5 hours.
In the first 5 hours. I mean, what does that translate to? So, 77 times 10, that's 770 kilos, am I right? In 50 hours.
Yes.
In 50 hours.
Yeah.
And I remind you, we fished 72.
Yeah.
So just a quick comparison, that would have really been a good tempo to be on. I do think we made a couple of mistakes. I think Christopher uncovered them, and it's best he probably speak to that. But you mentioned it in your opening. You saw that in the afternoon, or the latter part of the 5-hour session, not only were we starting to catch up on numbers, but we were also starting to get better sized fish. And maybe you can elaborate a bit.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we picked up on definitely was that we started to get better sized fish off the feeding spot, so throwing a little bit left of the spot instead of throwing straight on it. And unfortunately, after the match, I learned the biggest mistake we made today. Normally when we fish, using 4 rods, you've got options to make plans. And in the position we were in the competition, you guys were keeping the pressure on the whole time. There was no time to lose fishing time trying something that you were uncertain about the result. And after we were done here and you were having your closeout with Heine and my dad, I just started fiddling with the one rod that I was throwing at a further distance over the back of the feed, probably 20-30 meters over the feed. And I couldn't get the second rod in. I kept throwing the one, and as I turn around to rebait, it goes and it goes. So I definitely wish we had stumbled onto that a bit earlier. It is one of our normal tactics that we try, but as I say, this time around we only got onto it a little bit late.
You didn't have enough rods.
We had enough.
Yeah.
We had enough, but you wouldn't let us fish.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think a lot of conventional anglers can relate when you've got 2 hooks. You can go with your banker bait and you can fiddle with your other bait. As a carp angler, you're used to having 4 rods to try different things, So I would have definitely preferred that, but we worked with 2 today and we did the best we could.
I think the pressure certainly did make it interesting, because we were onto the fish earlier, quicker from the start, and we were catching good. We had, our biggest fish was almost 10 kilos. So I think that takes away the easiness or the easiness that you have of trying this and trying that, because now you've got to do something, and you've got to catch fish all the time.
100%.
I also think though, Werner, as Christopher was talking to that, I just realized something. So clearly we've got a carp audience, as well as a bank angler audience. And we knew this match off today. Any carp angler would have said to you, what, you want to challenge me on carp fishing in 5 hours? Bank angling, it's a no-brainer, you guys are going to win, okay?
Yeah.
But as he was talking there and speaking to the 4 rods and the tactics that we normally use as carp anglers, I just realized we caught 77 kilos on hair rig fishing in 5 hours on 2 rods.
Yeah.
Had we been fishing 4 rods like you would normally do in a tournament, what does that translate to? 140 kilos? Who knows, okay? 150 kilos? I don't think so, because we were going quite fast, so I don't think it would directly translate. But it just gives the carp anglers, I think, a new perspective of, don't think you have to wait 24 hours before you can start catching a lot of fish. We just demonstrated today that with a couple of shifts in the plan, 2 rods, 5 hours, 77 kilos, and I won't even tell you how many fish we dropped. We were battling with hook links. When I say hook links, actual hooks, we changed hook patterns, we changed hook links lengths, because we were dropping fish. And I think we were dropping fish because they were younger fish, as to what we were anticipating in terms of catching. When you catch in a non-weigher on a 20 mil boil, that's like not right. You're catching a non-weigher on 2 18 mil buoys is not right.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of things to figure out, but I just want to round off what Christopher said. So carp anglers, what we normally do when we start off, we call it we span a draad. So we'll literally, for example, go 60, 80, 100, 120, and we'll range our rods, and the fish will tell us where they are, and then we'll fish to where the fish are. And we discussed this during the course of today. We said, can we do that or can't we do that? Do we try and make a close spot or not? Do we try and make a far spot or not? And we said, oh well, look, we know that the fish are roughly at that 80-90 meter distance, and that's where we stayed. Instead of coming one short and one long. And if you watched what you guys did, you in particular, was your, your accuracy today and your casting, your precision was impeccable. The fact that you were getting them on 60 meters, we didn't even try that. Normally we would have tried that.
And Riaan had good fish there, eh?
Yeah.
And the one thing that worried us when you really started using that technique, I think you called it the lead-infused spiral technique.
No, you must get it right. It is a lead-infused bronze wire spiral barber chasing lure.
You see.
With the right hook and a 15 centimeter hook length behind the lure.
You see. Now, when you started on that, we realized we were in trouble because Marble didn't count for us. So, but no, well done. You guys really fished well today. I'm actually glad to also see that the True Feed Enhancer came through for you guys today. I'm glad to see that the Sinner 1 came through for you today.
What?
I think we only started following you a little bit late on that pattern. Christopher clearly demonstrates that.
So one was on today.
But it was on, and I think, as I said when I said just now, fishing one. It was a great day out, beautiful weather, lovely fish. What more can we ask for?
Riaan, wat was die beste van die dag vir jou? Behalwe dat jy nou kon sê die span gedraai het op 60 meter.
Vir my was dit nice om net te kon cast. I think I told you guys last night that I actually can't cast. I can't cast in one direction. It's one in Southwest and one in Cape Town. And actually I did some good casting today, so I'm quite chuffed with myself.
En jy het op die merk gekast die hele tyd?
Ja, so ja,
dit was lekker.
Dit was my lekker geweest. Omdat ek kan sê ek het kol gegooi en ek het gesien dit werk.
Maak nogal 'n verskil,
Maak nogal 'n verskil, ja.
Iets wat vir my baie significant was eintlik, is dat ons het nou die enhancer bygesit wat nou lekker was in die voer en dit het definitief 'n verskil gemaak. Maar die oomblik toe ons tempo begin afgaan, jy maak ons een verandering, hoe lekker loop daai katrol en niemand mag hom vat nie.
Jy laat ons vir my hele dam vol. Dis hoe jy lag.
Is toe die tempo afgaan, toe vat ons voerbal en ons maak dit sag. Ons gooi water by en ons maak dit so pop. Dis hoekom ons daai groot lure gehengel het op die wat die barber so like. Maar toe het ons daai voer so pop gehengel op dit. Dat as hy in die water val, dan maak hy sommer so melkerig. En dan stel hy al daai lekker olies en alles vry. En die oomblik toe ons dit doen, toe maak dit 'n verskil. En natuurlik het ons groter aas gehengel.
Ja.
Want dit het vir ons groter vis op.
Definitely. You guys really, I was not expecting that as a result. I was expecting you guys to catch 1 or 2 nice fish, but amongst, the 1.5 to 2 kilograms. But just catching those big fish after each other was really nice.
Yeah, I think we had quite a number of fish above 5 kilos.
Ja.
Nou ja, dit was lekker. Ons hoop julle het dit saam met ons geniet. Ons gaan nie hierdie dam verlaat nie. Ons is môre terug hier. So daar's nog 'n episode wat op pad is. So maak seker jy volg For Anglers op YouTube. Like die page, subscribe en deel hom met almal. En kom volgende episode terug. Volgende episode, ons gaan vir Christopher môre hierso op 'n seatbox sit op 'n stadium. Ons het 'n lekker match en ons gaan kyk wat ons by hierdie dam kan vang op feeder fishing. Dean, Christopher, baie dankie vir my spanmaat hierso. Dankie dat jy ons laat wen het. Ek waardeer dit en dit was lekker geweest om saam met julle te kuier. Julle daar aan die ander kant. Totsiens tot 'n volgende keer.
Tot later.
Cheers guys.